Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Most and rule well. Shalom to all the Akim teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Caleb from the GMS England London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect. We are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly, but you will find Israelites that look like the other nation, because we as a collectively as a people have been scattered amongst all nations to our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible named Israel, then you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like, because Numbers 1:18 tells you that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I don't often go on Instagram because I don't really use much social media anymore. Every now and then I'll, occasionally check my Instagram, but I don't really like to use that app very much. But it just so happened that a couple of days ago I checked my Instagram account and this video popped up in the news feed or whatever, some random shit. And I knew it was going to be some bullshit, but I clicked on it and lo and behold, this is what I saw. And, once upon a time, you would, or I would be perplexed at why the fuck are people doing this madness in the churches? But now it's just part of the reality, because these churches are nothing but harlot houses. And you're not going to find the truth of the Lord, the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai in these churches. You see, these churches are really more like places for, it's like, community center, youth center, places where people go to gather to be sociable. They're not really there because they want to learn about Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. They're there for the social aspect. They're there to, meet up with their friends, have a laugh, have a chit chat. They're not really about, look, man, what did Yahweh Shai say? If you love me, feed my sheep. How the fuck is this feeding the sheep? You see, this is the thing. It's a very fine line between the vexation and the apathy that I walk. You see, because nowadays I'm quite apathetic to this shit because I've seen it so many times and I know that there's no truth in these churches. But then at the same time, the vexational spirit kicks in where I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing playing around in the churches when they should be serving Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai with sobriety and shamefacedness, not fucking twirling around like a whirling dervish, then rolling around on the floor till your fucking wig weave falls off and you're all rolling around acting like you're catching the fucking Holy Spirit. How is that edifying anybody? How is that orderly conduct? See, this is what I'm saying. You can probably hear the vexation in my voice because I'm walking that tightrope between, on the left hand, I feel apathetic, but on the right hand, it's vexing because people are taking the piss. People are taking the piss and they're not, the fear of the Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is not being pushed. Because if you were, look, man, fucking hell. If you was on a job interview, would you conduct yourself like that? No. And why not? Because you know that the interviewer is going to be looking at you like, what the fuck is this person doing? They're not fit for the job. Spinning around like a fucking spinning top to the point where they roll up, they fall on the floor, their wig fucking falls off their head, then they're rolling around on the floor writhing. Is this someone who looks like they're fit for the job? Like, let's say you were applying for a job in a bank as a cashier, and they're thinking, well, I want to employ somebody who's able to do calculations, so they're going to give the customers the correct amount and they can handle transactions. I need to see that they can demonstrate something, some aspect of responsibility and good conduct because they uphold in the name of our corporation. See, this is the thing. If you go and work for Lloyd's Bank, right, and you start acting a fucking fool, they're going to fire your ass. Why? Because you're making their name look bad by your poor conduct. So how much more of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Here it is, you're supposed to be upholding the name of the Lord, but yet you're acting a fucking fool, making a mockery of of the Most High's ministry. And nobody's checking these fucking women. Why the fuck are these women up in the congregation like this? You see, this is why women aren't supposed to be speaking in the churches. You got that fucking, woman screaming, "Oh Lord," blah, 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 whatever the fuck she's saying. I want to be right. What is she saying? I want to be right or some shit like that. You want to be right, but you ain't doing the things which would bring your ass into fucking order, which is humbling down, shutting the fuck up, and listening. You ain't got nothing to fucking say in the church, man, let alone be singing and all this kind of crap. Damn, man, I'm getting pissed now. As I say, that's the tightrope, the fine line between apathy and vexation. Let's get into these words. So the word apathy in the Common Dictionary, it means an absence or suppression of passion, emotion or excitement, lack of interest or concern for things that others find moving or exciting. Stoicism, free from any emotion of any kind. So stoicism is a good quality to have as a man, in the sense that if you're a stoic, you'll think soberly. Let's get into stoicism. A systematic philosophy dating from around 300 before Christ that held the principles of logical thought to reflect cosmic reason instituted in nature, or conduct conforming to the precepts of the Stoics as the repression of emotion and indifference to pleasure or pain. See, this is kind of how we're supposed to be as men. Stoic, have a more stoic mindset, in the sense that we're supposed to be we're supposed to express conduct conforming to the precepts, right, of the Stoics as a repression of emotion and indifference to pleasure or pain. See, because women are emotional creatures by their nature, right? Bear me a second, let me find my sword. Bloody hell. Because I want to look up some precepts. Bear with me a second. Alright, well, that seems to be misplaced, so I'll have to go without it. Looking for my sword to pull out some precepts, but I'll just have to go in the spirit and use the sword on the phone app. No big deal. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, men are supposed to be more stoic and sober-minded. Women are more emotional creatures, right? Which is why women need to be held in check. Which is why a woman is supposed to come under the order of her husband. Because the sober mind of the husband is what keeps the woman in order. But a lot of these women, especially the so-called black woman, the Judite woman, and you fucking Southern Kingdom women, so you Northern Kingdom women as well, you don't get a pass, because I know you're full of shit too for the most part, but they don't want to come under the order of their husband. They want to be a law unto themselves, which is why women end up destroying themselves through overmuch liberty, because they weren't made to govern themselves. That's not what a woman was meant to do. I found it. Never give up on your front, never give up and you'll succeed, sort of thing. I found my sword. So as I was saying, forgive me for the delay in the message, but yeah, women are more emotional creatures, which is why a woman's supposed to be under the watch of her father in her early life, and then she's transferred. The ownership transfers. See, what women are never exposed. Women are never supposed to experience liberty. Really, what women are supposed to experience is a transfer of ownership. First, they are under the ownership of their father. which is why they have their father's surname. Then what happens is the care of the woman is transferred over to her husband. So then the husband becomes the owner of the woman. The word woman actually goes back in the etymology to female servant. So women are never at any point in their life supposed to reach a point where they venture out on their own and they establish themselves. No, women aren't supposed to experience that. What women are supposed to experience is a transfer of ownership from the father to the husband. And in that process, there's no room for the woman to start acting wayward, lawless, disobedient, because all these things end up corrupting and destroying the woman from within. See, women are self-destructive by their nature. So they need leadership to prevent them from destroying themselves. I'm going to pull a precept here. Sirach 25. Sirach the 25th chapter. Sirach 25 and 25 says, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Read that again. Sirach 25:25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Now, there's another precept I want to pull, which is in Sirach 26th chapter, starting at verse 8. It says, a drunken woman and a gadder abroad, which ties into the precept I read before, calls with great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. Reading down, jumping down to verse 10, here's the point again, another point I want to emphasize. Sirach 26 verse 10 says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. You see, too much liberty destroys women, which is why I said what I said before. Women are never supposed to experience liberty. They're supposed to experience a transfer of ownership, first from their father and then onto their husbands. There's no room in that way. You're not giving the water passage. You know, you're keeping how do you say, a watchful eye over your daughter or your wife. You know, and that's what women need. They need to be held in check. You know, when you play chess, there's such a thing as putting the king in check, meaning you know, you're in a very you know, you're in a tight position, you know, and if your king is checkmated, it's game over. So you've got to be watchful to check your checks, type of thing. But really, a woman is supposed to be held in check, meaning that she's always supposed to be in the line of judgment, because really the man, women's connection to the Most High isn't as strong as a man's connection to the Most High. So all these women talk about, well, the Lord told me this, or, you know, the Lord told me that. They're talking shit, because women don't communicate directly with the Most High, just like we don't communicate directly with the Most High. There's an order to things, and the order is that it's the Most High who communicates with Yahushai. Yahushai then communicates with us, the man, right? And then the woman can't go directly to Yahushai. The woman has to go through the husband to Yahushai. That's the order. You know, the Most High is the head of Yahushai, Yahushai is the head of the man, and the man is the head of the woman, roughly paraphrasing. Now, so all this madness in the fucking churches, people love this shit. Women love this shit, I should say. Because let's count it, right? In church, you got two things. You got women and you got simps. The simps being the men that are so fucking disconnected from the word of the Lord that they ain't got the balls to fucking open their mouths and put these women in their place. See, like the church pastor with his clean shaven baby face and his egg head, fucking Cadbury's Easter egg looking head, right? They're talking about praise Jesus. And the women were like, amen. Preach, pastor. You know, Pastor Michael's preached a good sermon today. That's right, sister. You know, it made me feel the Holy Spirit. That kind of bullshit talk that they talk in the churches. Thank the Most High that I'm not in those churches. But you know what I mean? I can, in my head, play them conversations because that's how it goes. They've got these women dressed in white as if they're fucking holy and righteous. And you know these women be getting up to all kind of madness, sleeping with all kind of men. They're coming up in the church like they're holy and acting like the fucking fool. Let's play this again, man. Where we at? Yeah, play it again. Count it. I count 1, 2, starting from left to right. 1, 2 women on the left, right? 2 fucking simpish men. By their posture, you can tell they're fucking simps, right? Look at that fucking Brokeback Mountain posture on this dude. With the egghead. What's fucking going on, man? You're not supposed to make baldness on your heads. So you got one dude on the left in black. Another dude, if that's a dude, it's a dude. I can't even tell, but the posture looks very effeminate. Like, just broke back, man. Rounded shoulders and all. Like, where's your fucking spine, man? Now you got 2 other women here. There. 1, 2. Right? The wig fucking wearing full rolling on the floor. 1, 2, 3 other women up there. Another woman with her head bowed down there in the black. Another 2 women here. Make that 4. 2 in black, 2 in purple. So let's count it. Well, the women outnumber the men. Let's just put it that way. We're going to assume this one in the white hair is a man. If I'm wrong, Most High forbid me. But I'm going to give credence. Well, how do you say give credence? I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. But no, the spirit is telling me that's a woman, man, in the white there. That don't look like no man. That's not a masculine posture. So let's see it, right? The only dude up in the mix here seems to be this dude with the bald head and the black. That seems to be the only dude. And I'm guessing he's probably the pastor, right? So you got 1 man to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the bottom right there. 9, 10, 11. And the one rolling on the floor would be the 12th. 1 man to 12 women. Let's read the spirit here. Let me think about it, right? There's too much estrogen in this room for a start. Because being around too many women too much, it's not a good thing. I'm speaking from experience because years ago I was in a situation where I had to share a house and it was me, 1 man with 4 other women. Now on the surface that might seem like, oh, that's a cool thing, you know. You're the one guy and all these women are hanging with you, but that really can be fucking cantankerous. And it can really play on your spirit, especially if you're a masculine dude. The feminine spirit will try and fucking erode your masculinity. Now, this church pastor here, if he was on his job, if he was doing the right thing, he would be keeping all these women in check. But he's been overrun by these women. They're up there doing what they want to do. And he's just sitting there like, probably with his hands folded thinking, I'll just let them have a good time. Now, that might run in some scenarios, but it doesn't work when you're supposed to be doing the ministry of the Most High. You know, you can't be fucking disorderly and allowing disorder to take place. Because the scriptures say the Most High is not the author of confusion. Let's get that one. And that's nothing but confusion. Spinning around like a fucking 5-year-old, then rolling on the floor because you're dizzy. That's what you do at primary school, man. Bear with me. 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 33 says this. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33 says, for the Most High God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. Look, and this goes into the whole point. It says, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience. Let's look up this word obedience. Let's go into the blue letter. Let's do this, because I can look it up in the common dictionary. You know, I'm going to do both. Right, obedience in the common dictionary says the state or quality of being obedient. The active practice of obeying dutiful or submissive compliance. Hey, this lesson's going deeper than I thought it would be, you know, because this really comes back to women being out of order and disorderly. And what did I say about women not supposed to be experiencing liberty, but they're supposed to experience transfers of ownership? Well, they're supposed to be submissive and under compliance and obeying and dutiful. Right, definition 3, a sphere of authority or jurisdiction, especially ecclesiastical. Well, there you go, that says it too. Ecclesiastical, I believe, meaning, let's read this, of relating to the church, the clergy. There you go, clerical, not secular. So it's ecclesiastical, meaning it's relating to the church, which is what I thought, but it's good to check to be sure. Definition 4, chiefly ecclesiastical, conformity to a monastic rule or the authority of a religious superior. See, these women don't want to acknowledge no religious superior, because the pastors they acknowledge are the ones that let them do what they will. They're not checking them. They're not reining them in. They're not trying to make them get right with Yahweh Shemi Shai and get them to conduct themselves in line with the law, statutes, and commandments. Those pastors aren't really pushing the law, statutes, and commandments. They're pushing that do as thou will spirit. And that's what these women are attracted to. That's why they're up in these churches acting the fool, thinking that they're catching the Holy Spirit, when they're catching nothing but a demonic spirit, because it's a demonic spirit which keeps them in those churches and prevents them from coming to the knowledge of the truth. Because when you come around a man of the Lord, a real man of the Lord that's about this, them kind of fuckeries, I'm going to use that word, them kind of, I'm going to use this term, them kind of bumperclot fuckeries can't run. You know, they can't run with a sincere men of the Lord, because we'll put those women in check. We're not going to allow that kind of disorder to take place, because 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33 said it. But also 1 Corinthians 14 verse 40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. I'm going to get that in a minute. Back to what I was reading. Oh, no. I was going to look it up in the blue letter, wasn't I? Obedience. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 13 verse 40. Forgive me. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. Right? 14:33 says, for the Most High God is not the author of confusion, but of peace in all the churches of the saints. 34, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. So we're going to look up that word obedience in the blue letter here.
Strong's G 5293. Hupatasso. Hupatasso.
Hupatasso, meaning or outline of biblical usage is to arrange under, to subordinate. You see, feminism can't run when you're under obedience, because the word obedience means to arrange under. Well, what is it going to be arranged under? Under the authority of the men, right? To subordinate, meaning to subordinate means under order, subordinate, right? I believe that's what that means. To come under, right? To subject, to put in subjection, to subject oneself, obey, to submit one's control. So women are supposed to relinquish their self-control and be under the control of their man, who is their head, who's under the control of Yahweh Shai, who then ultimately is in control, under the control of the Most High. To yield to one's admonition or advice. To obey, to subject. Let's read what it says here. It says, this word was a Greek military term meaning to arrange troop divisions in a military fashion under the command of a leader. In non-military use, it was a voluntary attitude of giving in, cooperating, assuming responsibility, and carrying a burden. Now, a lot of the prophets use that word burden. The burden of the word of the Lord to Malachi, I believe it says in Malachi. Let's check that. Malachi 1. Let's stay here. Let's go here for a second. Because sometimes the word of the Lord can be so heavy that it feels like a burden. Not it's a bad thing, but it's weighty. There you go. Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. So if we look up the word burden in the Common Dictionary, women don't want to be burdened. Women want to be free. Women want to have fun. Women want to be flaky. Fucking airheads. Nothing's of any weight, nothing's of any consequence. Burden, meaning, in the Common Dictionary, that noun, that which is carried, load. That which is borne with difficulty. Nautical term is in the weight of a ship's cargo, carrying capacity of a ship. Mining terms. Or jumping down, to load heavily, definition 7, or to load oppressively, as in trouble. Now, women cast off their burdens because they don't want to be burdened. They want to have fun. Now, what does it say? Is it Isaiah 4:1? Let's check that out, Isaiah. No, that's not the one. 32:9. Bear me, I'll find it. Yep, that's the one. Isaiah 32:9 says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. So what does it mean to be at ease? It means to be comfortable. If you're carrying a burden, you can't be comfortable. For example, Yahweh Shai used the term, anyone that wants to follow me must pick up his cross and follow me. So it means to carry your burden, to carry your problem, carry your responsibilities. Now, those who don't want to carry their cross, forgive me, I'm roughly paraphrasing these precepts. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. People who don't want to carry their cross, they don't want to be burdened with anything. They want to live a frivolous, light-hearted and carefree life of no consequences. So therefore, they run away from responsibilities. So those type of women are the women who are referred to in Isaiah 32 and verse 9, which says, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you, and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields and for the fruitful vine, because the times that are coming are going to be very disastrous. It's going to be a total collapse of the society, and a lot of women aren't mentally, physically, spiritually, psychologically prepared for what's about to come. Now, the job of the pastor is to prepare these women for such times. And what's my man doing here? See, now I get, see, as I say, I'm flickering between that fine line between apathy and outrage. See, my attitude right now is, what the fuck are you doing, man? That's your fault. This guy right here, that's your fucking fault. That's your congregation that you ain't keeping in check. What the fuck are you doing sitting there, probably with your hands folded, probably looking at that woman's ass thinking, oh yeah, she's nice. Maybe I'll get a piece of that. See, this is the thing. These pastors, right? These pastors aren't thinking precepts. He's thinking, oh, I've got 12 women sitting around me. Or, yeah, which one am I going to make a move on? Or which one's going to make a move on me? He's probably sitting there thinking about all this kind of worldly, carnal bullshit and not, hang on a minute, you know, how can I sit here and feel comfortable with these women acting the fool and I'm not correcting them? Because the Lord probably will correct my ass if I don't correct them. See, that's how a man of the Lord's supposed to be thinking. You're supposed to be watching over the flock, man. Like a good shepherd or a watchman on the tower. You're supposed to put these things in check. Not allow this shit to be going on, because that's a bad reflection on you, man. That shows that you ain't got your shit together. You ain't keeping things in order, man. And at the end of the day, we're entering into other men's labours. This isn't, okay, well, because Caleb said so. No, it's because we're entering into other men's labours, and Yahweh shall establish something. He came on the work to finish He came on the earth to finish the work that the Father commanded him to do. And Yahweh didn't do that work any old way. He had to do it to the law and to the letter of what the Most High said he should do. Right down to going on the cross. You know, Yahweh prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane to not have to go on the cross. But what was the response? The response was no response, meaning that, look, you got to do it. So he went to the cross. He shed his precious blood, right? So that he could go up into the spiritual realm, loose the seals of the book, and give us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which we in turn are then supposed to impart unto the hopeful elect. What's this guy doing? So you're telling me Yahweh went on the cross so that you could come and set up your fucking stupid ass 501c3 church to have a congregation of predominantly women to roll around and act the fool? Is that what this is about? Is that what Yahweh shed his blood for? Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck you and your congregation, man. Because this ain't a joke, man. We're entering times when the earth is going to reel to and fro as a drunkard. We're entering into the times when the earth shall burn with fervent heat. We're entering into the time of Isaiah 66 verse 15. The Lord will come with chariot. Let me read it, man. Isaiah 66 verse 15. See, this is the thing, the fear of the Lord, man. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots, meaning the UFOs, like a whirlwind. Now, a whirlwind is not a cool little breeze. Like, you know, you might walk out of your house on a nice sunny day and you feel a nice wind in your face and you're like, it's such a nice sunny day. No. A whirlwind is tempestuous. A whirlwind is destructive. Whirlwinds tear down houses, man, and uproot trees and turn over cars and all kind of madness, right? So he's coming with fire. Now, fire is also a very destructive element, right? For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, meaning to judge. And the slain of Yahweh shall be many. So if you've got scriptures like this in your head, you're going to be thinking, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the Lord's judgment, man. I've got to keep my ass in check. Now, keeping your ass in check means keeping these women's asses in check. And he ain't doing that. So this is nothing but a fucking joke, man. Titus chapter 2 starting from verse 3 says this. Now let me read from verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober. So that woman was acting like a drunken woman, right? The aged men are supposed to be sober, grave, meaning serious, temperate, meaning, not the fuck it, man. Let's get this in the blue letter, Titus. So lucky I got notification. Let me turn this off. Turn the notifications off for a second. Where was I going? Titus. Come on, where are we at? There we go. Slakia. Titus. Let's look up these words, man, because there's power in understanding that aged men be sober. What does that word mean?
Strong's G 3524. Nephalios. Nephalios.
Nephalios, meaning sober, temperate, abstaining from wine, either entirely or at least from its immoderate use. See, wine isn't necessarily a bad thing, but wine without moderation is very bad. And wine in terms of drunkenness in the spirit is a bad thing. You know, you're not supposed to be drunk like a drunkard in the spirit. Of these things, free from all wine or vessels or offering. Okay. Next word, grave.
Strong's G 4586. Semnos. Semnos.
Right, the meaning of semnos is august, venerable, reverend, grave, honest. Okay. Fine. Of persons and of deeds. Okay. Straightforward, honest, sincere. Next word. Temperate.
Strong's G 4998. Sophron. Sophron.
Meaning of a sound mind, sane in one's senses, curbing one's desires and impulses, self-controlled, temperate. So there was no self-control in that woman that's spinning like a fucking 5-year-old child in a primary school playground, then rolling around on the floor to the point where a fake-ass weave come fucking flying off her head, meaning that she wasn't being honest anyway, wearing that fucking hair hat. And it's not funny. I mean, it's funny if you're carnal. If you're carnal, it'll be like, look at the black woman rolling around in the church. But if you're spiritual, this should fucking vex you, man. Because the Lord's ministry is not a joke. Yahushua is not a joke. The scriptures say that Yahushua was an austere man. Okay, yeah, he did have his moments of levity with his disciples at moments, but for the most part, he was a man on a mission, and that mission was to do the work of the Lord to the law and to the letter as it was commanded him of the Most High. He had his job to do. We too have our job to do. Yes, sometimes with the brothers we may laugh. Yes, we may have a joke. But there comes a point where when you're wise, certain shit ain't funny because you understand how much the implication spiritually there is of what's going on. And then you can't see it as a joke anymore. And then it gives you vexation because it's just out of order and disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful to the Most High and to his son to be behaving like that up in what you so-called a church, we know that these churches are full of shit anyway, but a so-called house of God, because you're misrepresenting Yahweh Shai and his ministry, and making light of Yahweh Shai's sacrifice. So let's finish this out, because I've been talking a lot. That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. That the aged women likewise, that they be in behaviour as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober. There's that word again. To love their husbands, to love their children. Here's the point: to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High God be not blasphemed. That's what I'm saying. By these women behaving like this way up in the church, they're making a mockery of the word of the Lord and his ministry and Yahweh Shai's sacrifice. And they're going to sleep at night not feeling fear. To me, that's crazy, because what does Proverbs 1 say in verse 7? Go back. Proverbs 1 and verse 7 says this: the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So, do these people exhibit any type of fear? Let's ask ourselves that question. It's rhetorical because we know the answer, but we'll ask it for the sake of just the ending this video. Are these people looking like they're moving in fear? And there's the hypocrisy. The woman screaming, I want to live right, I want to live right, but doing everything contrary to what the Most High said in his law that women should be doing in order to so-called live right. So I've got nothing more to say on this shit, man. So with that, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to all of the Arkim teaching this word with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm out for this, and I'll catch you on the next Lord willing. Shalom for now. Wa abba wa kremeshawala. Shalom.